All right. Hello everyone. How you doing, guys? Michael, Bruce, Carl, Levi, is it? Let's do a quick sound check. Let's see if we have audio. We have video going through. I believe it is. Just let me know. That would be good to know. Corey, how are you? Okay, guys, let's get started. Before with Dina, thanks for that. Thanks for the computation, guys. Let's start here. My name is Saul. Welcome to the trading room. Before we get started, remember, anything I say here is not meant to be a buy or sell signal on any instrument, on any time frame. I just want to show you the way I read the charts and approach the charts and my process and my routine, and hopefully to show you concepts that you can go and apply on your own individual situations and strategies. Now, as every Monday, we are going to review, to scan the larger time frames. We're going to spot for mid-term and long-term opportunities. I have some setups that we spot last week. I took those trades and I'll show you right now how they're developing. And we'll go through the calendar. We'll see if we have any high-impact, important event to be aware of. And if that's not enough and we have time at the end, we might go to lower time frames and take some short-term opportunities and some trades. So hopefully will be fun and profitable. Okay. Okay, Andy, Charles, Ramon, welcome, guys. Okay, let's jump into the calendar very quickly. This is what we got for the upcoming week. Nothing really, but a lot of speaks that we need to be aware of, and we got CPI tomorrow for in Canada. So it's Canada tomorrow, CPI about to come a bit lower. Remember, if we got lower inflation, so we have no expectations to more hikes on interest rates, so less demand for the currency, so that should be bad for the currency, okay, against its strength against other currencies. Good for the economy, of course. So we'll see if we have that price in the market already. So that's for Canadian. Retail sales in the US, usually a little bit of volatility and no much more than that. Wage price index in Australia, as peak. Bank of England speak. That'll be interesting to see what's the reaction. There's been a lot of efforts in England, the UK, to bring inflation down, and they're not accomplishing that. And they got, where's that? So they're at 4.5, so near the highest interest rates right now, okay, getting closer to the 5%, but not getting the same results as the US or other countries where they got their inflation around 5% or 4%. Their inflation, the GBP in the UK is still high. So if they're going to talk about that, that will be a good one. Employment change in Australia, volatility, usually not much more than that. Bank of Canada speak. Interesting if there's something, and Powell on Friday. That's for the US. So out of the speaks and the CPI in Canada, volatile events to be aware of, but not really, trend initiators, or they not usually are. So just be aware of those, guys, and be careful with volatility. Those, when we have those spikes in volatility, our technicals and our readings of the markets tend to fail. So the patterns we know, the levels we know, don't work out as usual. Cool. So let's jump into the charts. Let's see what we got. Let me make this. Make this smaller a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'll just review with you the setups that I have running, because we talked about those last week. So let's review those, and then we'll scan the rest of them. Then if you have any specific pair you would like to review together, we can do that, and we'll see if we got time for intraday opportunity. So we took together, I believe it was already on, dollar franc buy position. It was that entry right there. So since last week we have had a lot of testing of that same entry and a little push to the upside. So we are on that one 80 pips up, and I was actually expecting for a push lower, okay, for a retest of those lower levels. I told you I tend to, you know, go small, and then if it goes against me, I would like to get into better entry points. Those didn't trigger, okay, so I can take them out, and we're left with one entry point. Now if this just runs in my favor, and there's a chance that will happen because we're kind of trying to break that channel we've been forming to the downside, okay, we've been pressing down. I've been trying to find the bottom, okay. I just need to wait for that moment where the buyers will get active, and this will eventually break to the upside. But if this goes in my favor, I got in with my smallest position. So now I need to find places where I can add into my position in profit, okay. So I can either take profit and re-enter, or I can leave that on and look for potential entry points. So depending on how this moves, we're right now testing for the fourth time that resistance level. If we manage to break out of that, I expect that to become a demand area. So I expect this, if we break, to become a new buying interesting area, to have like an important breakout to the upside, and then on the retest to the demand area, that would be a potential adding area, okay. So we've got these little pullbacks right now, okay. So I got a long back here, so I had that pullback and that pullback, but I was in front of the chart, so I couldn't take those trades. So I really want to wait for this to become a new demand area, the breaking area, if that happens at all, and then I can set like a buy limit order in case this retests the area, and then can jump into the longs, something like that, okay. So because I just got in with a very small position, so I need to increase into my position to get into a more decent lot size. So that's for the dollar franc, and it's similar to the cat franc, which is also reacting similar to what we expect to happen, okay. Last week we were here and we said we need to wait for a pullback and then a continuation. Now the pullback on the hourlies kind of happened, like it moved sideways most of the time. It didn't pull back deep enough. We marked this mid-range demand and this mid-range demand in the charts, and you see how we tested that mid-range demand and we're reacting, but the reaction hasn't been as strong to the upside, so not enough to really take the trade. And we also, this last push to the downside, that was a strong supply area, so I really want to see some confirmation to make sure buyers are interested in buying this market and potentially be the continuation to the high side. But the fact that this was ranging sideways too long, and then the strong movement to the downside, this one right here, made me hesitant. But the level is holding, and now I just want to see continuation, confirmation that the buyers are willing to take that market to the upside. But on the dailies, it's kind of forming the pattern. Like we got the push to the upside, kind of the pullback, and this might be the potential higher low than this one. Okay, we've been forming lower highs, lower lows. We've potentially forming a higher high than this one. Now we're waiting for that pullback and to form a new lower high than previous one. So that could be that. I don't see the strength behind the movement on the hourly, so that's the only thing I'm waiting for. But the level is holding, so that could happen. So I didn't take the trade here. I did take it here, Donald Frank. Remember, we were together. And I also took a trade on gold. Now, let me remind you that at 2000 level, there's a lot of sellers. If we see, even the monthlies, there will be, I don't think I have enough history. Where's my... Yeah, here we are. So at the 2000 level, we got 1, 2. We've been there like 3 times, and there will be a lot of interest on keeping the price below that. Okay, so also we saw how that reaction. That was a strong reaction and then a continuation lower. Now last week we were here around this area forming this channel, and I said we can manage to hold that channel into the supply area. That would be a nice selling setup. Okay, now the channel kind of continued. I didn't enter here. That could have been a first valid entry point, and then we have a strong push to the upside, and but the reaction was also strong to the downside. So that was a nice confirmation signal. The fact that we tried to push through the level and the sellers immediately reacted. So that formed kind of a new supply area. And then I waited for the retest of that new supply being formed. So I entered around here. Short, we got a second retest and eventually the breakout to the downside. And this movement to the downside was a nice one. Now I didn't place a take profit. I usually try to scalp. I go for the easy targets, which should have been at the support, but I forgot to place a take profit here, so my trade is still on. This could go any direction. So if we manage to break that level, we potentially go there. My stop loss was originally up here. I'm confident trading it down here now, because we might have another retest of that level before going down. So I just need to wait. Not much to do. That was a nice profit area. I didn't take advantage of that one, so now I'm paying the consequences. So I can take profits now, or I can wait and see if we can retest that area, or we can go to the next key level, which would be down there. So those are the trades we spot last week. My bias right now would continue being short. So if I go to lower time frames, I would like to keep shorting this market. Remember last time we were here at this level, we only reacted to form a channel. So that was a weak reaction. And then we had strong reaction to the downside, strong reaction to the downside. The retest of that area had this movement to the upside, a little bit stronger, but now it's kind of forming a new consolidation, a new weak reaction. So I'm happy to keep shorting that. If we have a setup, even on the 1 minute chart, I'll be happy to keep my bias. I know last week we shorted and we ended up with a small loss back here, but my bias is still there. So in the long term, as long as you stay consistent with your reading and with a fundamental behind it, with a basis behind it, so you tend to come out, profitable. Now let me see the chat here a little bit. I open a ticket for you. Help me out with calculating my position siding with gold and indices. I haven't got reply yet. Kindly reach out to the calculator you use. Thanks. Charles, I didn't get any. I didn't get any ticket. So let's do this. Just send it to Alex, and he has also the calculator. He will be able to help you out with that. Cool. Now let's continue with the rest of the pairs. We'll see if we have any opportunity or something. Now let's start with pound dollar. If I recall right, we said we tried to establish a breakout to the upside, but the breakout has been weak. There was like a strong reaction to the downside. So I wasn't unsure if this was going to be a true breakout on the pound. So I would wait for more confirmation. That eventually, just the whole opposite happened. Okay, breakout didn't go through, and we had a strong reaction to the downside. Now let's read on the hourly, because we attempted to break, in this area and that area, strong reaction to the downside. Now we have fresh supply areas. Okay, we want to be aware of. So we have supply, little channel compression to the upside, supply, and we're retesting that. So we are retesting from that demand. Wouldn't surprise me to see a reaction on that area. So I would like to go to the 5-minute chart to keep, focusing in to see how strong was the movement. So we had this decent move to the downside, but that's already invalidated. And then that movement wasn't, you can see on the 5-minute chart, it suddenly doesn't look as strong. So I will wait, because this looks strong on the hourly, but suddenly on the 5-minute chart doesn't look as good. I mean, we had, based on the 5-minute chart, we had that one, but we already trading that area. It looks like there's no reaction. Okay, we're still there. We can still react. In fact, you can short and have a tight stop loss there, and a good potential to movement to the downside, because that was a weak movement to the upside. But I don't know, not my favorite movement. And that movement, let's find out. Okay, that one is clearer. So this is a low probability setup. If it continues in that channel all the way to that strong supply area, that would be a great selling opportunity. Okay, and given the fact that on the hourlies we missed the breakout to the upside, we have the opposite, movement to the downside. Those of you who like candlestick patterns, this is a great example of a fake out and a candlestick pattern, reversal or fake out candle at a key level, making the reaction to the downside. There shouldn't be a lot of support along this area, so I would be neutral, bearish on this market. So let's wait and see. Dollar yen has been a bit more clear on what's going on with it. I mean, we're kind of getting trapped in that triangle, and it's triangles and wedges. Those are not easy patterns to trade because we might keep pressing inside this pattern until the very breakout. So we want to see if there's some supply there. Let's find out. Okay, and we see it. Okay, we have supply, and we have kind of resistance right where we are. So I expect that to continue inside the pattern. Okay, we might test that one, and then react and continue in that larger structure, which is the daily wedge or the daily triangle. And those are really hard. You know, when you look at backwards, when you spot that, and then you see, yeah, look, last time we had a triangle like that, it broke and was a new trend initiation, okay, that ran forever. But it's very hard to tell which direction this is going to break, okay? Eventually, the direction will break, it will be a strong breakout. I mean, potentially if we break to the upside, we might go easily all the way to that supply or that supply area. If we go to the downside, we have nothing. Like literally, we have the support right now, and if we break that, we have nothing left below. But the hardest thing to do is to predict which direction is going to break. So I prefer to wait for the breakout, the retest of the area, and then trying to join the potential movement. Real time is hard to trade those because I think we're going to retest the highs one more time. We're going to react one more time to the downside. We'll press into the triangle, and probably next week or in 2 weeks we might see a breakout of that pattern. Mark reviewing franc yen possible supply area. Price did try to reach back up there and got smacked down. Let me have a look. If we're looking at dollar franc, we can do cat franc franc yen. Let me have a look. Franc yen. Are you saying 52.12? So I'm guessing that area. You speaking of? Yes. So we have that movement to the downside. I would like to see how strong is that movement because we have a lot of hourly bars going down on the. So we had that movement. Okay, so we tested it and we're breaking down. That's true. We reacted just 1 hour ago, that black movement, but it's kind of moving back up. So we have that on the 5-minute chart. Let's see if that holds. And if not, I don't know how strong is the whole area. I mean, we had just, this is important, guys, to do this, to go to lower and lower time frames, because looks on the hourly like a strong movement to the downside, but if you go to a lower time frame, you can see how weak that was moving actually. So I'm not sure I would be keen on this holding. We have that's nice reaction, but if we break that, unsure. But what your thoughts, Mark? You're looking to you're looking to short this or to go long, or what are you waiting for? What are you waiting to see or do here? Jesus, hello. Hey, how are you, my friend? Can we review? Yeah, pound yen. Yeah, we'll do. if we're on the yen pairs, let's do it right now. In fact, where are we? I remember we spoke about pound yen last week, and it wasn't very clear what direction this would. I mean, we were at the pullback, if I recall right. We said we should be testing the supply area. Which we kind of did, and since then we reacted. Now in the dailies, the pattern is hard to read. This might be a nice flag. Which, you know, in supply and demands you have these patterns, which again real time is hard to know what direction they're going to break. But if I trying to spot what price is doing right now, we had a strong reaction right now of that area, which is where we're at right now, and we have a very weak recovery to the upside. So I kind of see more strength to the downside. We had strong movement down, not as strong, but this recent one was relatively strong, and then strong movement down. The recovery has been weak but persistent. I mean, there might be something causing this recovery, because this recovery is a unusual recovery. After that, and we're reacting to nothing. You can see there's nothing here. So that's, I don't know what's driving this movement. That's recovery. I would be very confident on shorting that, but I really want to see. Okay, this is like a fresh supply on the 5-minute chart, and that's a decent range. But the fact that it has failed to recover every time makes me wonder what's driving this recovery to the upside. So I would like to see price action right now, because right now we're at the supply area of the 5-minute chart, and probably to short that. And you know, if you short there, you have a very tight stop loss, so you can have a nice risk reward ratio. But yeah, that recovery, that's unusual. I would expect after that strong movement to the downside, a little bit of continuation to the downside, especially because there's not much here. The long movement, again, hard to tell. If we do react to that supply, we might see another leg to the downside, and we would continue with the flag. But that flag would eventually break to the upside, to the downside. Can't tell, guys. I don't know. I would be forcing the pattern to show up. It's not super clear for me, and this price action is not super clean. But see, even on the 1-minute chart, we see that's clear supply. You wanna what? Let's give it a try. There's something. Okay. Let's see if we got a reaction. And if not, we'll just take the loss. But I'm not very confident, huh? I don't know. This is a strange recovery, a strange movement to the upside. So I'm getting in at the very bottom of the supply area. Another potential entry. What's that line? Whoop. Is that a line? What's going on here? Another potential entry area would be around there. So depending on price action, I can short again, and I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. first target area on the 1 minute chart. I'm just scalping this. So first target area would be there. Second target area would be around that demand, mid-range demand on the 1 minute chart. So let's see what happens. Just notice if you go to properties of the chart and tick the scale fix, you can scroll almost like in TradingView on your chat, but holding control down and scroll on the mouse wheel. Let's try that. Properties. Scale fix. Where are you? Where's scale fix? Scale fix. Ah, that's a nice one. Yeah, almost like in TradingView. But then how do I go back to my that's nice. Thanks for that, Michael. Okay, let's see what we got. Yeah, I had the AUD, and I guess Kiwi should be doing something similar. Let's just compare that. Aussie tricked me. Price action last week was showing signs of strength, and it just reversed, completely reversed. I mean, we had NFP and we had a lot of movers, so it's hard to call the direction. So yeah, New Zealand and Aussie, they're moving very similar. Again, we need to understand the context, because right now, you're right, we look at the dailies, it's a bullish day, and on the hourlies you see a bullish movement, but the context personally tells me otherwise. We've been in that range. We tried last week to push higher, both on AUD, USD, and here at the Kiwi, and the breakout to the break to the downside was very significant. So that was a strong movement down, and that push to the downside was also kind of strong. So we're now retesting that. That might fail, but we have a lot of, like, just look with your eyes how long it took the market to recover that distance. Okay, let's say from okay, that's 183 bars, and how how strong has been the movement to the downside. So same price distance, but in only 40 bars, so a third, or four times faster, in the speed moving down. So it's moving faster to the downside than it did to the upside. So I would keep a neutral bearish bias. Okay, the neutral comes from the daily. We're stuck in that range. We're not able to break down or up, but the last 2 days have been bearish. So for me, those weak movements to the upside are good opportunities to actually short. Okay, now that's target number 1. Okay, we said that was Frank Yen. We said that would be first target area. So if you're a pure scalper, you should be taking profits right now. Now no need to hold risk anymore, but we have no pivot point as well formed. Okay, so I need to wait for market to create that pivot to the upside and then to the downside, and then I'll be happy to trade my stop loss. Till then, I need to leave it there. Look at what strong reaction. So that's target area number 1. We missed that one. Let's see if price continues to target area number 2. Now, if that fails, touch my stop loss, I want to keep looking at price action to see if we have a second reaction of that supply area, or I just leave it like that, okay? without re-entering the market. Peter, why trade such a small lot size compared to the account size? Yeah, it's just running for the running the processes. But if we look at the history a little bit, you will see I trade with larger volumes. Okay, it's just right now, just for the streaming. It's just, I don't want to be. I'm not attempting to make money right now. Okay, I'm just the thinking and the speaking and the analysis and everything. But when I'm just purely trading, then I will go with 4 lots, 2 lots, 4 lots, 10 lots. Okay, I'm showing the process here, not the money making part of it. What else we got? Euro USD, similar to pound dollar. We're very hesitant. We mentioned that we were stuck in that range for the past weeks. We finally broke to the downside. We want to make sure that movement is a strong movement, and we have some nice supply areas right here. Right here, and we want to see what's behind. So we have that support we're reacting, which wasn't very strong, but continued to the upside. So this first movement is similar to that movement, which is a weak one. Right now, my bias would be again to the selling side. So I finally have a kind of a bias to the downside on the Euro USD as well, after being for a long time trapped in that ugly price action. Now we have a first signs of a potential impulse to the downside. Okay, that would be my bias. And I think that's all pairs. What's with dollar CAD? I guess it's probably a dollar movement. We have all the opposite. So look at this. We had supply. We have another supply. Supply to the downside. Retest of that supply area. Consolidation and push to the upside. So that's a swap zone. That one. That behaves now as a demand area. That's what we're seeing right now. The retest of that demand, we should have a little bit of continuation to the upside. So it shows kind of a slightly dollar strength against the CAD, but overall in the whole context, we're still in that huge range. So our strength might bring us back, to these tops, probably to that area, but still within the large range on the dailies. So very, very neutral here. Afternoon all is pound yen on bootcamp. I can see it. Yeah, you should, Andy, you should go to the market watch, right click, and then show all, and you should have pound yen there. Okay, what else we got? Guys, any other pair? If not, we'll see if we can find. And if just send an email to support, I'll try to help you. Guys, I really don't see anything else. Mark your short setup once. Yeah, I see it. So it's similar to franc. You're taking it on franc yen, which is a very similar setup than pound yen. So that might be probably a yen movement that push to the downside and recovery. So we have this push to the downside and the recovery. Elmer, took me 2 years kind of for make it, like to try to understand what I was doing. Of course, back then there wasn't the amount of resources and YouTube and tutorials there are today. So it was a bit tougher. So around 2 years, and from there just getting better and better and better, and getting to more deep understanding of the price behavior. Peter, you're long GBP AUD. GBP AUD. $186.87. 87. That's a curious entry. I don't know what time frame you took it. And this is certainly a pair I don't follow, so I trust your setup better than mine. Yeah, and the camera of course starts doing some problems here. Okay guys, I think with that we'll just wrap up. We'll keep you updated with some the setup, how they go. But yeah, thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for staying. And tomorrow Ruben will be with you, and I'll see you next week. Thank you, guys. See you.